I found this music that I really enjoy that I'll use as part of my warm up. I feel like it's the right balance of heavy and intense with calm. The band is called Calandra, with a K.
Will you like drain your pasta in?
That's why it's Mikey Musumeshi's favorite too. There we go.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. All right. Welcome.
Welcome to another episode of Jiu Jitsu Ponderings. Hopefully the camera will not be bumped. Good job, dog. Oh, he wants to come up. We have a guest joining us today. Come here. All right.
All right.
Joined by Logan.
Joined by
Thank
Logan.
you, Logan.
He wants to be a star.
He wants to be a star.
Oh, so sweet, baby.
Okay. So,
Episode 11, Jiu Jitsu Ponderings with David and Lauren.
yes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. All right.
Excellent.
Right to rapid fire.
Yep.
If you could magically train as many sessions a week, how many would you do? Now, the magical part is that it just fits for your schedule. You're able to get the time off or whatever. Not you can magically train without any.
Yeah. You're
it's
gonna
not like you're joining the Bomba crew.
Yeah, you're accruing the normal amount of like physical damage and stuff.
And exertion and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The one thing that I have to take into account is like how much I trained when I could train my ideal amount. I was like in my early 20s then. And so I don't know that I'd actually want to train that amount right now. But it was like about.
Yeah, but it's like, how many would you right now?
I would right now. I don't know. That's what if I, because like it was like 10 sessions a week, because that's about 5 days split up into 2 sessions. One session is like a slightly lighter session, and the other session is like the hard session. And you've got a rest day kind of in the middle of the week and a rest day on the weekend.
But how many would you want to do?
Let's say 8. Let's say 8. That sounds good.
8 sessions.
Sounds sick.
Okay.
Yeah. How many would you do? Since you sound like that's preposterous.
Well, it's not preposterous. It's just like, well, okay, so I think my answer is like 4 or 5, closer to 5 in general.
Only 4?
Yeah, because like and this was, I was going to caveat my answer.
Okay.
If I could be good at some of my sessions being almost exclusively like drilling, and maybe some positional like light goes or flowing and whatnot, then it's like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But if
it's as
like
you
what
are,
I do now, with maybe a little bit less like urgency or whatever to get like the most out of each session, I think it would be something like 4 or 5 realistically.
You're like 4 or 5, and I still show up 30 minutes late minimum.
Yeah. I don't drill.
Yeah.
The move.
You're like no time constraints, but I still show up that late because that's just my jam. That's hilarious. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I had no time constraints, I probably would try to make it. But I have time constraints, and I would rather roll live than drill, so.
You'd probably just roll live more. Maybe you would like do more light rolling rounds. I don't know.
Maybe. Like I said,
I would definitely.
It would be predicated on my ability to like take those extra days beyond 4 or 5 like pretty light, because like I still have my body, and I don't want to have like really tough training, even if on some of those days I'm taking easier training partners. There's very few people at our gym that are just like absolutely ease. Like it's still easy, but like there's a lot of people that are like, it's going to be kind of tough regardless. So it's really hard to just take like complete cruise days. And so I'd have to be like, yes, I'm able to drill and flow on those extra days and like do lab work rather than
also
train.
Part of my schedule, it's very important that I can take a nap in the middle of the day. That's what enables all of this to happen, So as long as I can take a nap for like,
doing 10
20 minutes to an hour
a week.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. What is one move you wish you could do well in jiu-jitsu?
There's probably a lot. Probably any kind of like acrobatic entry to the seated up guard, you know, like whether that's like kind of that cartwheel pass to Kimura or like a flying armbar where, you know, it's like not really flying because you're basically just like stepping around their body, but that's what I, you know, and having some discussions that maybe I'll get into later, maybe about, you know, hey, if someone's a really good leg locker, you want to be attacking their upper body instead of trading legs with them. If you're probably like a slightly lesser leg locker, it's like, well, if they're seated and I'm standing, then I got to get around their legs somehow, you know? So having that be less of a process and be more able to threaten upper body submissions from on top faster would be pretty sick.
Sweet.
What's your answer? You're like, I'm just so good at everything.
No.
It is the nice thing with jiu-jitsu is such a vast land of things that
I do not have. One, I don't have that big of an ego, period, but I'm not that delusional in that, like, oh, I do everything well. There's plenty of things I don't do well at all. There's one move you wish you could do well in jiu-jitsu.
You can extend that to like a position or something.
Maybe like wrestling up better. I think that like
that's
getting
legit.
a good trigger of like when to wrestle up, especially if it's not like, oh, I did shin on shin guard and they're turning, or I like attacked a leg and they're turning and running away. That's like an easy trigger. Like if I want to, like, yes, this is a good wrestle up spot. It's like when they're like really hunkered down and stalling, like a wrestling up to get on top and behind them is also unacceptable. So I'm thinking more like those kind of nuances. But yeah, just wrestling up in general. I do it and like I can do it kind of well, but it's very contextual, very situational. Like this year in Nogi Pans, I was going against someone that like studied my game really well, and they had a lot of answers to my game, and I think it was tied late maybe I was down an advantage, maybe something like that, and like I had to come and wrestle up and like double leg the person down, eat a guillotine for a little bit and pop out, and that's how I won. So I like can do it in the moment. I think that's even how I wrestled up in a title match, sub kumite in Nogi, where like I wasn't getting a whole lot. I was like, I got to score some points, like so. I can, but it's not like I go there as a game when there's enough indications. It needs to be like in competition, like pretty late, and like sometimes things click and I'll do it. So I think that's my answer.
Nice. I will say too, one that I've wanted that's a little more realistic for a long time. I started to make some progress and then forgot about it. Is a John Wayne sweep, like some kind of like pull the rug out from under them, like smashed half guard, or like a more intentional setup sweep would be sick. Yeah, that would be really cool. All right, excellent.
I think that if you learn like a little bit like the giggler, you might learn. I mean, the John Wayne motion happens for it.
Giggler, John Wayne, any just like hip bump sweep.
Yeah. No, bottom, I'm mostly saying that because some of the mechanics can kind of like help see like why you're doing the leg movement the way you're doing. Like the way like taking that arm out of the equation is helpful.
Totally.
And so that like it becomes easier if they can't have any posts.
Yeah.
And so like that might be a good like maybe starting point.
Yeah, that's definitely feels a lot easier for sure.
Yeah.
I think in the time that I was practicing it a little bit.
That's cool. I learned it from Sean Roberts himself. Or like
had it done to you a couple times.
Had it done to me, but he showed it like
cool.
quickly after. Yeah,
nice.
He's super nice.
Yeah.
Good dude.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to be going on to a checking question. What is something that happened this week in training?
Something that happened this week in training. Why don't do you want to start?
We went to a seminar.
Yes, we did.
Mr. Miyao seminar, and he showed Barata Plata, which is pretty cool because like I don't do it like ever. I'll do like occasionally a Tarika Plata and whatnot, and obviously like omoplatas and stuff like that. But I haven't.
You don't even do omoplatas that much, and that's
no, not that much.
That's probably where you don't do omoplatas and you don't do triangles very much. And so, ergo, it makes a lot of sense that you're not. The only thing is I started doing the tricoplata from the Choi bar.
Yes.
And so that's been the main one that I've seen.
That's what I'll do.
And then the Barata Plata started happening from triangles.
And that makes a lot of sense. And that, and like, yeah, it makes sense why it hasn't really been in my game and on my radar and stuff. But I was able to, get some experience with it. I thought it was really well done seminar. So he like showed the Barata Plata and then showed it from getting here, from here, like, so it was really cool that all roads led to Barata Plata, and just some of the moves with varying levels of complexity all came back to the Barata Plata. So I felt it was very helpful that as you're learning like some, maybe like a lasso entry, lasso is not really my game, but like as I'm getting further along, I'm like, the inertia to go to Barata Plata makes more sense. So like the move made a lot more sense than I think if I started on its own, getting through the whole progression. So like that like reinforcement was really cool. I really liked it, and it's like makes me think of like I could steal some of that in a little bit, and some of that structure. I think at least I can explore it, especially maybe with like our retreat that's coming up on March 6th through the 8th. That thought kind of like comes to play. But yeah, I think it was cool, it was interesting, and I was glad to at least explore around. And there was a lot of people there. It was really cool. Yeah. It was a very impressive turnout. I did hit several Barata Platas today in training after doing the seminar. And I was really excited because it was a gi seminar, and I was worried, maybe they won't show Barata and tricoplata because it's gi and it's just a little bit trickier to sneak in. And so felt like at least the way that he has his curriculum set up, it was very reliant on the gi.
The ones he showed were definitely more gi reliant.
Which is cool. I mean, it's probably like a really big testament to like how deep their knowledge goes into these positions and stuff like that. At least the ones that are like their core blueprints, because like to your point, like they're well known for hitting the Barata Plata in no-gi. And yet they have like this very deep adjustments for gi, which is cool. It's super cool.
Yeah, honestly, it was probably one of the like significantly like it's hard for me to remember because I did a lot of seminars when I was a white belt, when I was a blue belt, and the stuff from then, it's like I maybe like some integrated, I don't know. This felt very cohesive, and so it's hard to say, hey, is it just that like, now we're upper level belts, and so it's easier to take in the information. I do think that the way he broke up the information was really good and made it so that it was easy to take a lot away, which was really cool.
So you're saying it's one of the best seminars you've been to?
I mean, besides yours, of course.
Finally gets a correct answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally. On camera, I see. All
right, mine. I had an interesting weekend in that I've mentioned before that I've been preparing for these qualifier matches, and lo and behold, I like lost both matches again, and so that sucked. When I'm in my like positive mindset, there were definitely significant improvements from the last time I did it, in that I was able to execute my passing strategy a lot more and prevented the heel hook entries from my opponent a lot more, but ultimately like still got sniped eventually. And so it's kind of the like, hey, now the leg locks are like starting to work, but this isn't, you're not a 10th Planet student. Like you haven't been doing heel hooks since you were like blue belt or whatever.
And you don't get to train that much with them either. That's like the bigger thing too.
And you don't want like just like little whiny baby excuses or whatever. And you're like, okay, let's acknowledge some of the reality of the situation where it's like I'm pushing myself to jump into waters where I'm not quite as like familiar, like even a lot of my super fights were at purple, and so most of my opponents, there were times when we were both going for heel hooks, but we weren't like, neither of us were that good at them, whereas now it's like, dude, people are really good, and the heel hooks themselves have evolved a lot, I feel. and just like the general leg attacks. So I think it's just good considerations of like, well, what's, like you were saying, what's worth investing my time into, and where can I like
especially because you can't
improvements.
train 10 times a
Especially because I
week.
can't train. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And then it was nice where for me it's like, okay, I had a tough day. It was really cool to go and do the seminar after that. And then today I trained at my home gym again, but it was nice because it was a no-gi class, and some of the folks there like knew that I was working on this stuff. And it's interesting where at my home gym I can make changes to how I'm attacking leg locks, and there were a couple suggestions that you've made and that our other coach Andy is making about controlling the far leg before I'm worried about ankle locking or heel hooking or whatever, especially when entering honey hole and things like that, like make sure that my knee line is correct. And so just that, today I was able to do that a lot, and I really made sure that those were dialed, and it felt like there were some significant improvements made. But it's like, I think I had one person try to toe hold me, Lath, a friend of mine, successfully. So it's an interesting thing to try to figure out how to fill that void.
Yeah. I mean, it's never like easy to know what to like spend time on, especially given that you have finite amount of like training time and like what you can allocate to it. There's always trade-offs in your training. In this context, like putting time and effort into getting really good at leg blocks is not just about like, I'm willing to train that. I got to have the training partners that's going to make that effective and useful and stuff. And so not only is it like you need someone that is comfortable doing legs at all, but is also fairly decent at attacking them, and safe, and hopefully your size, and preferably a female, so you can get a really good look and feel for it. But like that becomes much fewer and fewer people that's a possibility, and that in itself poses another challenge, because then you need to like, the complexity of making that happen becomes a lot harder. And so sometimes it's like there's a limitation on what you're going to work on because of that. And so that doesn't mean it is not to be worked on, or not to be worked on to the extent that you would like. There's just a trade-off associated with it.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah. All right, you want to move on to the topics?
Sure. Yes. All right, we have a question from Neighbor Skate Company, our good friend Steve, who runs skateboarding classes for kids in Marin County. He's awesome. If you're in Marin County and you've got a kid who wants to skateboard, check him out. And he's started jiu-jitsu recently, and he wanted to ask for the podcast, what advice would you give to especially beginner in terms of them focusing on belt ranks? And so that can be in the context and part of feeling this draw towards how the importance of getting the blue belt. And so I think he wanted us to kind of break down like what should he how should he look at the emotions around the belts, and how should he kind of like approach that system, and just any advice that we have on that. Do you have any advice right off the bat for someone in his shoes, or someone else just kind of like, I think belts carry a lot of weight for a lot of people in jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's a very clear marker of you are progressing at this thing that's pretty hard.
I have many thoughts about belts, but I will not belabor the fact. Besides, everyone that's been around for a long period of time, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have been around for a long period of time, is like, don't worry about the belts. Like, journey before destination. Because that's really, you're going to spend all the time in the journey. And it's just going to be a very brief moment in the like destination of the blue belt, the purple belt, the black belt. That doesn't mean you don't like revel and enjoy and like low-key look forward to the destination of the next belt. But it's focused on enjoying the process and enjoying the journey. Now, I know that that's so hard to actually internalize. They're like,
cool, thanks. I'll just be over here dying.
That's not realistic. And it's one of those things. It's like, oh, when you grow up, you'll understand or whatever kind of things. And it's just, it is what it is. So I respect that the belt means a big deal. It's like we're naturally programmed to, like, it's the most, like, it's so dopamine enticing of like, oh, I'm gonna get that. And the payoff is gonna be so hard. And you run the, the risk of like focusing so much. And then it's gonna be the hedonic treadmill. Like, you're gonna achieve it. You're gonna be stoked for seconds or days or weeks, depending on who you are. And then you're gonna be like, okay, now that's the new norm. If
And
you're
the new norm might be more
getting beat up,
challenging.
yes,
Yeah, because now you're not a white belt, and
there's a
so now
lot of
people are
people.
like, "All right, I'm gonna take the training wheels off or whatever." And, that's not necessarily everywhere. It might not actually be very different, but
Some places will,
yeah,
some people will.
depends.
They're like, they'll let you work a little bit less now that you're a blue belt, because there's some people that are like nice or whatever and like let people work.
It's okay.
Oh, come on. Oh, your baby
There we
girl.
go.
Oh,
We got
so
2
sweet.
dog
Oh,
visits.
it's just sweet.
She's a star.
She's a star. She's a born star.
Yes.
So I think, try to avoid that. But like, I think if I were to roughly define what a white to blue belt journey could look like, it doesn't have to look like this. And it's going to vary wildly depending on what gym you're at, because you're gaining enough of a breadth and depth of knowledge of jiu-jitsu that you are able to express that in training to a degree that meet, and like just demonstrating your knowledge and consistency is huge. That meets the criteria of whatever the professor has. So for me, for like to be a blue belt, like, you should have one or two things that you actively attempt to do in training in every one of the 13 core positions, and maybe a little bit beyond that. It's like standing, the guards, and then like the positions like side control, Mao, and back Mao. If you can have a coherent game that you can almost articulate, like, I'm trying to do this, then that, and the other, like, you're starting to get to the point where like you are at the next level. Right now, it's just like you don't know that you don't know anything. You kind of know that you don't know anything, but you really don't know anything. And so it's just like, get to the point where like you can tell a story with the words that you're learning, that are the moves of jujitsu and the positions and the body awareness. And when you can start, writing sentences, that's when you're a blue belt.
I think that to get to kind of re-emphasize some of your point, I think the main thing is what's hard with jiu-jitsu is that it can be very different at a lot of different gyms. And so, we already had the one thing you'd want to remove from jiu-jitsu, like you should be able to ask about belts. But your instructor, often the white to blue progression is usually one of the most clear. And they might require that certain moves, like, hey, you should probably know how to do an armbar by the time you get your blue belt, But like, do you need to know? Stop messing with her. Do you need to know like cross choke, ankle lock, triangle, omoplata? Like, do you need all of those, or do you just need to have like a kind of effective game, either from top or bottom? And that's another one that I'll hear pretty commonly is they're like, hey, a person is ready for their blue belt when they have a clear preference for top or bottom. Maybe they don't do the other one really well. Maybe they kind of suck at it, but they're like, oh, I would rather play guard and I'm going to try to triangle my opponent, and they've at least learned how to drill a decent number of like of the positions, like you're saying, like they probably know how to like drill techniques from almost like from most common scenarios. I think that the feelings around being like, oh, I really want that because like just, like I don't, sometimes I'm like, are we just over like normalizing everything? But I think it just makes a lot of sense to feel that way because it makes it clear that
there's
on
a
some
clear
level,
hierarchy.
yeah, there's a
hierarchy. It's like
hierarchy.
an achievement
Your
level.
Skills have progressed to some degree.
It's an acknowledgement of
progressed
that
in your acceptance into this community that's hopefully not too cult-like, but like regardless, it's a little cult-like, Like, I know a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and it's the sign that you're progressing, especially at a gym. Like,
but
our
it's
gym
like,
does not do formal, like, hey, on this date, we're doing a promotion ceremony, And so because it's a lot more mysterious in that sense, I think that we'll do stripes for white belts sometimes. But like, you know, even that is like, no, you know, if you're not going to the fundamentals class anymore, if you've graduated beyond that, like it's not that often that they're like giving out stripes or whatever. And so I think at our gym there's a lot of like trust the process and really think about how you can just generally improve your jiu-jitsu, you know, and that will probably lead you to the next belt, you know, at some point in the near future. Some gyms do the like, oh, you need to like win gold at like 3 competitions or whatever.
Places do that.
Some places do. They maybe used to when there was a clear like local competitions and serious competitions, you know, when it was a little bit more distinct, and it just gave a way of like, maybe not you need to, but one way that you could demonstrate your readiness was by winning some number of, you know, competitions.
Yeah.
And like that can be an easy marker of like, yeah, this person's ready. They're destroying everybody, or they're not ready. They're getting absolutely trashed. It's such an interesting thing where it's so dependent on the gym, you know? But yeah, I think that's the, like, even though you're going to feel those feelings about like, oh, if I want my blue belt, it's going to like make such a, I'm going to feel like I belong, and I'm going to feel like, oh, I, you know, I have some skill and whatever. And you're probably going to feel that about the belt after that and about the belt after that, you know? Some people, it's funny too, where they like, they enter a place where they're like, I really don't care about like getting better necessarily. Like, I'm just here to like train and it's fun and, you know, whatever. And that's cool too.
People have different reasons for training.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
And they're all valid. And some are more valid than others, but they're all valid.
Mm-hmm. Mostly, probably, you know.
Well, yeah. They're not all valid, you fucking perverts. Most of them are valid.
Yeah, yeah. Go to Only Feet for that stuff or whatever, you know, like, come on.
Yeah.
All right. Moving right along.
Now,
is this a prompt from somebody?
This is a prompt from my mind.
From your mind. Excellent. From David's mind.
From the vaults of Team Chaos member himself.
Yes.
David the Buzzsaw Mitchell. My original prompt was a little bit different, but it's morphed into this. So provide us with an example where a mistake was made and lessons from that mistake in jiu-jitsu.
In jiu-jitsu, excellent. We don't need to go into all the life mistakes that we've made.
Yeah. So it only can change. You can interpret however you want.
Okay. So I was a purple belt. I was fighting, I think it was IBJJF San Jose or Sacramento or something local-ish. And I think I had won my first match barely by like maybe an advantage or ref decision or something. And I was fighting this young lady from AOJ next. And my old strategy was to try to either go to half guard if I'm on top or try to double underpass. Like just not deal with their guards because their guards were gnarly. So I'm in a double underpass on her, and she's got my sleeves, and I can't really find, you know, the corner to get out. And I hear, this was my old gym. I hear my coach say to me, oh, you know, pull your arm out, you know, to like push the leg through or something like that. And in my head, I was like, is that going to put me in triangle? And this was this was a more old school coaching style of just like, you know, trust what the coach says, like be puppeteered, and that will probably lead to success. And a lot at white and blue belt it had. And so in this moment I had that like, I don't know, but I was like, no, just do it. Like, trust that it will work. And so I took my arm out and it was immediately in triangle. The side note is that I was fighting the triangle and I was almost out. It was almost like she was on top and I was in turtle, but she had triangle, and I was starting to pull my head out, and they stopped the match and they said that I tapped, and I was just like, I didn't tap. Like, it was this wild, like, dude, what? So that was unfortunate, side note. But the main takeaway from that for me was that I think I've had a long history of not trusting my own instincts when it comes to like jujitsu and like body movement and whatever. And that was a very clear moment of like, no, it's like I do need to trust my instincts, and the coaching is like a potentially helpful outside perspective, but that outside perspective might not see literally what's happening in the moment. And so I think that was very, it was helpful to adjust my thinking from there.
Yeah, that's interesting. When I coach people with any regularity, like, and I think coaching. Now this is another tangent. I think coaching is like 3 or 4 different like skills. There's like in class coaching on a regular basis. There's like coaching for preparation for competition. There's like coaching at competition. There's a lot of people that are bad coaches at tournaments.
What's one way that someone might not be a great tournament coach?
Saying negative things that aren't actionable. So like, don't get swept or don't get passed and stuff like that. It's not actionable. It's not.
Chances are, if you're saying that, the person on bottom or doing whatever is like, yeah, I'm trying, you know, like
I'm aware of that.
It's not helpful.
It's more helpful to give actionable advice or just encouragement, you know, like, oh, keep going, you know, whatever is better than like, don't get past, you know, like, but like give actionable insights of like, oh, put your foot on their hip or, you know, keep your frames or whatever it might be. And so I think that you see that a lot. The crux is like, I can coach anyone, like anyone in the entire world, because I think there are 2 base level things that you need as a coach in competition specifically during the match is 1, giving the time, and 2, giving like the point situation, whether you're up by an advantage or down by 2 points or whatever it might be. Like give that to the coach, the competitor, and that is you're 1 miles ahead of a lot of people, and 2, like that's the most useful things for most competitors. Now, white belts and blue belts maybe not, like they might not even like know what's going on at all.
Yeah, but you might have to tell them something more specific of like, you're halfway there, or like you need to score, you know, like you need to sweep or whatever.
Yeah, giving them a little bit of like directive in it.
I'll say, just to add a very specific framework for that, is I try to tell people about every 30 seconds what the time is, or how much time they have left, or whatever. And then what was your other one? The points, about the same thing, you know. So that you don't have to tell them time all the time. You know? But that way they're not having to try to look at the clock.
Yeah, you should never have to look.
Match. Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't ever have to look.
Yep. Another piece, it's kind of mixed though, is you're low key influencing the ref. You know, you're trying to point out that, hey, your guys, it's so mysterious though. That's
like, you know, you might be able to influence on the margins. It's like that takes
definitely on the margins.
It's like I could teach people to be wonderful coaches on tournament with like 5 minutes. And it's like, just do those 2 things really well.
I think that's like 20 seconds. Tell them the time and tell them what the score is, you know?
I give an allotment of 5 minutes to explain like they're on top, like
all right, fair enough, fair enough.
So just so you know, just so they're like, I mean, and
you're like literally,
I could teach anyone in 5 minutes. And so I think that, and then I start to give tactical things, and we talked a little bit to your point earlier around like, if I have a consistent relationship with coaching while competing, I want you to ignore the things that don't make sense. I'm giving suggestions most of the time, where I'm saying, hey, do this. And you like either tune it out completely, or you run it through a quick heuristic of like, does that make sense? Can I execute on it? Okay, go. You know? And very few times will be a directive, like you have to do, and I'll be like short time, or you've done the same thing 6 times in a row and you're down on points or whatever. Then I'll like give an actual directive and urgency. But for the most part, it's like, I want to give you suggestions, and you are the one that's making sense of it or not, because you might have a wrist wrapped up and I don't know, you know, like, because you can't see from the angle,
can't see everything,
or you're just like, no, that's not my game, or whatever it is. And so like, that's
I remember you just being like, turtle soup, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. What are you talking about?
We had covered it like days before.
I probably forgot about it. Yes. But you know, but Yeah.
For the record, turtle soup is how I break down turtle.
There we go.
Into a side control collection. So
I still don't remember what it is.
I know because
anyway, yeah, because
it's a great move. It's a great name.
Nice.
Everything's wonderful.
Yeah. All right. What a mistake that you've made that's jiu-jitsu related
that comes to mind. So, I'll make the same joke like for the 8th time. I make a lot of mistakes, or I have made a lot of mistakes, and I still continue to.
That's a joke?
Yeah, and reality.
Why is it a joke?
Because like,
where's the punchline?
It's just like it's just so like obvious. It's like a dad joke thing that you're like, you either embrace it, you never make mistakes, or you're gonna say like, oh, I'm continuing to make mistakes. You know, you say these kind of jokes all the time too. Like, I'm trying to get better, or like, I'm trying not to suck, but I still do. You know, shit like that. Yeah. Okay. We're definitely cutting that out.
No, that's it. I'm the editor here.
A mistake that I made. I think the fact that I did it is not in and of itself a mistake. It's the duration I did it. So there was a time in my competition career where I didn't want to rely on things like headphones, especially, but a couple other things. And so I specifically abstained from having them because I was like, oh, if I run out of batteries or whatever, I didn't want to like have that throw my game off. And so like I didn't do those things and like just raw dogged it through like probably a couple years. And I would have shortened that duration a significant amount because I do think it is valuable to be able to compete in circumstances. It's not only like, oh, I just don't feel that well or I have a like tweaked arm or whatever, but also like, oh, I don't have my my headphones, so I can't listen to my favorite music or whatever. I don't have my binky or whatever. And so it's my comfort blanket. But it's also, you know, I've embraced and seen the usefulness of putting as many things together as possible for me to have as high chance of having the things that help me perform better like all lined up and ready to go. And so I want to be ready and prepared and not like going to be, you know, thrown off course if something just doesn't happen. Like I end up forgetting something or my batteries do run out and I no longer can have my headphones. Like I have proven that I can do that. I've proven that to myself. And so I can feel assured that that's all good. And so I try to set up myself for the most optimal, like, you know, support mechanisms like headphones and the right kinds of, you know, I, you know, get coconut water or watermelon water. And like I do the things and I give myself permission to do those. And then if I can't do it for whatever reason, like traveling internationally or whatever, like that's all good.
I think that's what's nice is on one hand you say, okay, I'm gonna occasionally do a competition where, and I mean this is also gonna just happen where you're like, I don't have my favorite watermelon water or whatever, or hey, my headphone battery ran out, and flexing that muscle often enough that you're like, and I'm going to perform regardless because my competition success does not depend on this thing. It's just like nice to have is definitely like a good thing to.
It's like you are experience. Yeah, you're already doing something really challenging and tough. Like why make it more so? And especially the more you compete, the more you're like, I've already done stuff difficult and under duress and stuff like that. So this is just one other thing that I'm gonna overcome.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, for those major events, really making sure, okay, I've got my playlist ready for my music because I know that, you know, there's a lot of data that really regulates you, you know, or like gets you in the zone or whatever. And I've got my correct nutrition and my 3 different drinks of liquid and watermelon water and coconut water, and I'm going to eat about 25% of these snacks and drinks, and then I'm going to eat it all after the competition anyway. But you know, that way you have everything. You're giving yourself the greatest chance for success by having all the things you might want.
All right, so I'm going to ask you, but I also want to hear from the listeners. What is your 2 or 3 song playlist right before you go out to compete?
Like right before, like
or somewhere in there. What give 2 or 3 songs that are And do you change it up all the time, or is
Yeah.
there a consistent one for like at least right now?
Yeah. I think that, like I said a while back, I found this music that I really enjoy that I'll use as part of my warm up. Because I feel like it's the right balance of heavy and intense with calm. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling some of the Brazilian funk because the kid is getting into it. So Nobati
Really?
Dao is
She's
apparently it's
funny.
very common that oh, we're old, so so we're just like, oh, the kids hear this music on TikTok. That's so interesting, when we're just like, we hear it from jiu-jitsu because it's Brazilian and all that stuff. The band is called Calandra, with a K. So that I'm really liking lately. But
Isn't that what
otherwise,
you like drain your pasta in?
that's pretty close. That's why it's Mikey Musumeshi's favorite too. There we go.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, the kid's getting me into some funk. My EDM electronic music like kind of cycles, so it's sort of whatever like fits the fancy. I haven't made like an actual playlist in a long time, admittedly, because kind of same thing. I haven't found headphones that I actually like very much, and I don't want to lose nice ones. So yeah, so maybe I just play stuff off my phone, kind of willy nilly, like, and see where it goes. I made sure it was a mission of mine to walk out to Thunder Horse by Death Clock, which was a fantastic Adult Swim show. At least fantastic for the like high school through like early 20s age range. Now when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. But it's still great. It's still, soft spot in my heart for that. So yeah, walking out to Thunder Horse was really sick. Along with quite a few other songs for all the times that we've walked out. So yeah. What about you?
Nipsey Hussle.
Nice.
There's Grinding All My Life is like the song that I listen to right before I go out. But last time that I checked, and Hustle and Motivate. Those three.
Sweet.
And like, sometimes it's on a playlist or like a radio or whatever, so it'll bounce in that general genre. But Nipsey Hussle it's funny, it'll be especially on like big competition years, it'll be my like YouTube Music's most played single song.
Oh, that's funny. Interesting.
But my like most listening time is other songs or whatever. But like the most or other like genres or whatever. But it's like the most played song are those 2 or 3.
Interesting. That's cool. Nice. All right. Well, tell us what your favorite getting ready for competition or jiu-jitsu, like there's a lot of the meme of like me on my way to jiu-jitsu class and they're listening to heavy metal on the way there or whatever, and then they're leaving jiu-jitsu class and it's just silent and they're crying, because that's normal.
Or the like the big masculine dude is like just driving around like listening to K-pop Demon Hunters or something.
Yeah. or like, hey, I just met you and this is crazy.
Carly J. Repson.
Yeah, thank you, or whatever. Carly
Ray Jepsen.
Oh, call me maybe. There we go. That's the song.
Yeah, there's like that meme where like the two like the big buff guy and like the little girl they bump in and like their earbuds drop down and the chick was listening to heavy metal and he was listening to that song.
Yeah.
Party of the USA or whatever.
Yes.
I'll mess with the Party of the USA.
Yeah, that stuff amps me up sometimes.
Especially that's when you're lifting.
Yeah, depends on how I'm feeling. That's what it's like each competition I might be feeling like who knows what's going on in life.
I like routine.
Yeah.
Well, like certain times and like only like leading up, it could be I'm listening to hip hop and rap or like more like EDM type stuff, or like it could be a lot of different things. But like right before it's those.
Yeah. I think it would be good for me to do that. I don't know. I don't want
to the point where I will not listen to those songs
outside of it.
Interesting. Because it activates me.
Yeah. That's good though. That's good. That's what you want to train.
I have dogged myself.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
purposefully.
Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is when I want you to like take out the trash or do the dishes or something, I'm just gonna play that song. randomly.
I will fucking destroy you.
You'll destroy me. Yeah.
I'll go to battle, and you're the only human around. So that's not gonna go out well. It'll be funny, and plus, though. I do that shit anyway. I know you do that shit anyway. I'm just trying to find a reason to like mess with you with it. You're just trying to find a reason to make me look bad in front of our audience. Oh, not look bad, just like stereotypical. Oh no, less that and more just. Oh yeah. I don't know. I couldn't think of a good example. Okay, that was the only thing I could think of. Hey, come on! I escaped this weekend unscathed. No. All right, bye. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.